Assalamu alaikum. Hello, welcome. A bit coffee, Avi, but welcome. We went into extra time ourselves, and so did Portugal and Spain, but it's about 15, 20 minutes late today. But we did give you the notice. That's the main thing. We actually got the admin to come in. I came in and told you lads. But welcome to another episode of the transfer show on BNR. I thought we'd just have a little catch up at 4 or 5 o'clock and hope something breaks. Something has broken, but it's not regarding Florian Wirtz. It's not regarding Wirtz Kerkez, but it's something to do with Harvey Elliott, and I'm sure we'll touch on a bit on Harvey Elliott. But before then, I must go around the table, ask the boys how they're doing. Gene, what's happening? What's going on? Do you watch the game?
Yeah, I watched the second half. I missed chunks of the first half, but I caught the second half, and I caught the obviously extra time and the pens. Obviously, I was on look for a few players, and a couple of players that I like, a couple of players that I don't really rate as highly as others. But it was a good watch. I enjoyed the game, to be fair, and for something a meaningless friendly, I call it. It was pretty decent.
Pretty decent. Avi, there's no point biting your nails now. That time has gone. But you kept on sending audios on the thingy, WhatsApp, dua karo, like it was a bloody World Cup final. But Ronaldo's tears seemed like it was a World Cup final. But it seemed like, judging by your audios on the WhatsApp, you watched the whole game. Tell me what you thought of it.
I've been a big Spain fan for many years, probably over 25, 30 years.
Oh, here we go.
Honestly, since Euro 96, when Nadal missed the penalty against Seaman, I've been a fan since then. 98, Sunday Olise of Nigeria, 3-2. Raul scored a brilliant volley in that game in France, but these are going back years. Asim, I've seen the tears. But no, you know what? I've said, look, this Nations League, they want to promote this, and Portugal did the first ever tournament, then Spain have won it. And credit to them, Portugal team, they've always had that resilience to stick it out till the end. And it's the first trophy for Martinez, so it's a little bit of a stinker, but it's fine. Diego Jota picks up another medal, another trophy this summer, so he's quietly very effective and glorious.
Gene, if I was promoting the Liverpool shirts, you're promoting just for men tonight. Going by the comments. Everybody likes your.
Listen, it's all natural. I only use natural stuff on my beard, so it's all natural.
Abby, what's he using? Tell me.
Looks good. No, I must admit. Yeah, I saw the video yesterday at your house. The Malay ghost. He was enjoying.
Did he put a bit of Malay ghost on it?
Wherever there's a free feed, Gino's always there.
Avi, I'm not lying to you, but that ghost was next level, man. Probably one of the best R&B ghosts I've ever had.
Was that the mother-in-law's
cousin's house? It was. Honestly, it was really, really good.
Was that your mother-in-law's, or was that no? You weren't in Derby. You were in your side of the family, right?
Yeah, well, I was at my sister's house. Gene, what is that though? It's definitely not Malay ghost.
Pascal, now, you know what it is? Why you keeping asking?
There's so many people with white hair in the chat.
It's special. It's special. I can't
give
it.
It's
remedy.
Can you sell it? Put a BNR logo on it.
I tell you what they're promoting. It's not that bar soap, is it? When you put it on your beard and it turns grey to black with the
No, not that. It's not that.
Eh?
I can't give it away, man. It's a private. I get it made just for me.
Just for Gene.
Just for Gene.
There's your brand. Just for Gene. Avi, tell me about your boy, Nico Williams. I know you guys have been talking about him. I don't want to go too much into Nico Williams, Joe. We've had a few of them recently, but Gene watched the second half and he couldn't wait to put it on the WhatsApp group that he's had a stinker in the second half. But I thought he had a decent 10-15 minutes, and I think João Neves was struggling on that side. Semedo came on, and I think handled him really well. But on the other side, Avi, I thought this is the first time, the biggest compliment I can make towards Mendes is whenever you watch Yamal get the ball, whether he's in that little pocket of space inside, whether he's touch tight on the touchline, he goes at your left back. He's so direct with skill and control. But the biggest compliment I can pay to Mendes is Avi, is I don't think Yamal fancied it tonight. Would that be a fair thing to say?
Yeah, and that can happen. Look, you got to remember, Yamal is 18. Nico Williams is 22. I thought Nico Williams had I thought he was very good for the first 25 minutes. You know, he was probing, taking his players on. He got off a couple of shots, but then he just faded. And Yamal just didn't look as if it looked a game too many for him. He has played a lot of football. You got to remember, you know, he's 18 years old. So the summer will do him good. But Nuno Mendes is coming off a brilliant season at left back. We saw him against us in the Champions League. We've seen him perform in the final. He's a brilliant left back. Probably the best in the world right now, Asim, in world football. Very few give him that competition. But yeah, it was just, you know, the wingers couldn't get going. Oyarzábal, again, you know, gets that goal, very underrated in that role that he plays for the Spanish. But yeah, their time will come again. Spain will definitely be one of the favourites for the World Cup next year. Yeah. And lots to learn for Nico Williams and Yamal.
What do you think your Spanish side lack, Avi?
A 9. You know, a proper 9, a David Villa, Fernando Torres type 9. But it's everywhere in world football. It's everywhere in world football. The Italians don't have a 9. The French, you know, Mbappe, you could say, is the only 9 that they have. Portugal don't even actually have a 9. If Ronaldo, but he's 40 years old. How many games has he got in the next World Cup if he goes? Argentina have Alvarez, but he's not a natural number 9. There's a shortage of number 9s. I don't know what it is. Whether it's academy level now, players just wanting to be on the flanks now in a 3 off the right flank or the left flank. There is a shortage of a 9. That's what Spain lack. But look, they missed out on penalties. This has been a formidable team over the last 2.5 years. They've won the Nations League. They've won the Euros. They will be primed for the World Cup next year. You know, the players like Gavi, who's missed a lot of football, he will get regular football. You've got the likes of Yeremy Pina, who came on today. He will get another season, you know, to get going. There's so much youth coming out of Spain that they will be frightening next summer. But they do lack a number 9.
Gene, go on then. Let's talk about Leao. I thought he was really good. I put something on Twitter and people thought, like, you know, generally whenever you talk about a player, you want Liverpool to sign him. I didn't mean that. What I was talking about is Liverpool. We've been talking about it for a year. That Liverpool lacked that player that to go on the outside. Although we have to caveat the whole Leao chat is when he came on, the game was stretched. But he did what he did. He played well. He took players on. And he took risks, and that's what you want your substitute to come on, especially with the running power of someone like Rafael Leao. But you've been wanting Liverpool to sign him, and on tonight's performance, albeit it was a cameo, he looked good.
He did look good. He came on. He caused problems. He was direct. You know, we've seen how good he is. He can go in the inside and outside. There was a couple of occasions where he just went at the fullback, and I completely agree. He's somebody that we definitely lack in terms of attacking threat. What I found even more important with him, his game today, was he gets absolutely battered that he doesn't work hard enough. Today I saw him work hard. Today I saw him track back at times. Him and his relationship with Mendes, even though it was for a cameo, you could, you know, there's a few 1-2s, a few balls that he played in for Mendes as well. They had a good little understanding going on that left hand side. Look, I was impressed with him, and I'm not gonna lie. There's certain players that I've mentioned, they need to move to see the real fruit of how good this footballer is. And that's what I see with Leao. I think, you know what, he's been at Milan. They're not really going to go and challenge for anything. He needs a challenge. He's 25 years old, turning 26, I think, in June. And he needs to move. And, you know, I'm hearing murmurs about, you know, him having a release clause of, you know, him wanting to leave around 60 million euros. Look, 60 million euros isn't bad. You know, 50 million quid for somebody that's got the talent. He's another one, you know, he's got the talent. He just needs to work at it. And I just think, look, if he was to go to a City, Liverpool, Arsenal,
he can't be a talent if he's going to be 26 in 2 days.
What I mean is he needed to move. Yes, he needed to move a bit earlier. Okay, accepted. He probably should have left a year or two ago, but he didn't. You know, his numbers are still good. If you look at his numbers, this season that's just gone, year before that, his numbers are still good. You're still talking 20 plus GAs per season, and they're decent numbers, albeit Italian league, but it's a bit of a difficult league in terms of scoring high numbers. But look, people have mentioned he is frustrating. He can be, but there's a player in there that just needs to be unlocked. And for 60 million euros, a player that can beat a man, and you mentioned it, it's a trait that it can't be taught. You can tell somebody to work hard. You can tell somebody to track back. You can work on that sort of on his game. You can't tell somebody to start beating a man all of a sudden. That is one of the hardest traits in football, and that's what Liao possesses. So I think whoever does take a punt on him, they'll be, and he does get the work rate out of him. He's a phenomenal player there, man.
Yeah, I agree.
I go, you're scratching your beard and you're smirking. Why?
Look, he got 12 goals in 50 games in all competitions last season.
No, he didn't.
He's on the decline, if anything. Gene
9 assists as well. 9 assists as well. 21 Avia, by the way.
I'm not going to get into this. See, Asim, for a player who he just said he's a talent, he's going to be 26 in 2 days' time. He's been around at Milan. He's won the Serie A. They won the Coppa Italia last season as well. Look, he puts up decent numbers, but come on, that sort of ceiling is gone now for us. We've got to go for someone direct, slightly younger. Liao is not waiting to explode. He is where he is, in my opinion, Gene. I don't think, in my opinion, he takes his game to another level. He is where he is. A good footballer. You know, he is a bit ungangly at times. Gets kind of decent numbers, but at 26, that's him. I think we need to look at something there.
But does Gene have a point where he says he needs a new team, new environment, and a better coach?
Yeah, maybe, but I don't. Like I said, I don't know how much left in the tank he has to go.
I mean, you're talking about he's
25 years old. You're making it up. He's 30 years old, Aviyar. Come on, bro.
I don't think he can get any better, and I'm not going to get into this little hoo-ha today.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying he's 25.
I've never rated him. You'll see on my scouting data in the last 10, 15 years. I've never put anything on Liao because I don't rate him. Let's see how his future pans out. It definitely won't be at Liverpool. Carry on.
TK, we will carry on, as the chip says.
Some good thing is Rodri was missing, but Zubimendi is a very good, accomplished footballer.
Yeah, I thought he had a good game.
I thought he did have a good game. So they didn't miss Rodri as much. It's the 9 that they really miss. But that's every national team, every Premier League team, maybe bar Newcastle, who've got Isaac and a few others around the world. But yeah.
Okay, let's move on to Rehan, the lad who probably funds half of BNR these days. Big up Rehan. Thank you very much as ever for your super chat, bro. He says, I'm really worried about the Wirtz deal. Wow. Gonna be our final offer and still short of what Leverkusen want. The thought of not getting him is sickening. In terms of left wing, my dream signing is Barcola. He can be unstoppable. Couple of questions there, Avi. Are you worried? Should we be worried? There was a little line, and in one of the articles, it might have been, I think, in Paul Joyce's Friday night article, where he said Liverpool are not prepared to go where Leverkusen want them. If they think that, I'm just paraphrasing here now, and from what I understood of it is, if Leverkusen demand 150 million, Liverpool are not prepared to go there. Should we be worried?
No. Once the player has shown his desire to join Liverpool Football Club, once the homework's been done, a deal will be brokered between Leverkusen and Liverpool. It's just a bit of haggle, Asim, nothing more. I saw Gene popping off at one of the big content creators earlier on this morning. Slight got sniffle of it. These deals should get done, Asim. It's just, look, it's a big deal in terms of, we've never hit this territory where we're hit 100 million and plus add-ons. There is a lot of negotiations to be had. And I think we are going to come to a conclusion by the end of the week.
Gene?
Barcola, I think me and Gene agreed as well. Look, Barcola has got a lot of potential. He was frightening this season in the French league. He did sort of tail off towards the back end of it. But obviously it still ended up with the Champions League and the League double. So Barcola is someone that I would definitely take for Liverpool.
Barcola Williams, one word, Avi.
Nico.
Okay. Gene, should we be worried?
No, I'm not worried one bit.
Gino's not worried. If Gino's not worried, I'm not worried.
Why should we be worried? We're giving him over £100 million for the player. A player who wants to come to us, and it's just, look, it's a matter of time. They were there. He was on international duty. He was there for a little while. Both teams were playing the game. Liverpool were going to see if they blink. They didn't blink. Now the internationals are done. You'll hear news in the next day or two that that we've come to an agreement. It's nothing about them not accepting. Even if it's 130 and it goes up to 135, we are not going to pay 130 million and then pull out of a deal for over 5 million euros. And again, from their side, they're not gonna scupper a deal for the sake of 5 million euros. Yeah, when they're getting offered 130 million euros in terms of the full package. So it's already a lot of money. It's just a matter of time. That's all it is. Nothing to worry about, man. And regards to Barcola, brilliant footballer, had an amazing season. Would I take him 100%? I'd take him if Diaz went. Who wouldn't? But like I said, he's worth the money again. But you're gonna have to pay top dollar for him and offer him top wages. I don't think we're gonna offer him the wages that he wants.
Gina, one word answer. Nico, Bradley or Gordon?
Bradley.
What the fuck are you talking about? This is
Bradley
what I mean. Doesn't know anything about football.
Andy Gordon, Bradley Bucko. That's the name, Bradley Bucko.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I'm not gonna switch players. Yeah, my name isn't. Yeah, I don't switch players. I like I said to you, for me, it's about understanding football properly. I look at everything and I think Gordon makes sense, and I think we go for Gordon. I think we will go for Gordon if Diaz leaves.
Go for Gordon. Okay. I've seen some criticism towards Liverpool from other fan bases, like spending 120, 30 million pound on player. Man City fans have been popping it off with, we've got Reinders, we've got Shirky, and we can spend another 50 million pounds on a player. Do they have a point, Avi?
These fucking bitter bastards, Asim, yeah? If they had a choice of getting...
I know which buttons to press with Avi.
Actually, Wirtz even said, I think if he gave City a little bit of a bone to bite at, and said, look, I want to join Man City, they would not be complaining. They're complaining because they think they've got Reinders. And look, we've done it the same. When people have said, when Jude went to Real Madrid, we were saying, oh, look, we got Szoboszlai, we got McAllister, we got Endo, we got Ghana Smith, Szoboszlai within like 120, 130 million pound outlay. So it's tit for tat. We do it all the time. Reinders is a brilliant player, don't get me wrong. Cherki has shown us glimpses of what he's capable of doing. Whether he has the durability over a 38-game Premier League season, time will tell. But look, Florian Wirtz, you're getting the best of the business. You're getting the best number 10 stroke left-sided creator in world football. There's no question about that. He's been around for a few years. City, Bayern Munich, other fans piping up saying that, oh, we've got Mateus Cunha and we're getting Boemo for like 100 million or 120 million outlay while you are spending 130 for Florian Wirtz. I don't care. We're shopping at the head of the table now, Asim. These where we belong. And long may it continue.
Okay, Asim, let these come out. They know these are the champions, and the champions mean business this summer. They're getting their fullbacks done, and they're signing arguably one of the best young talents in world football. So they have to buy. Let them bite, man. You can have your Cunhas and Buemos and your Cherkis, whatever you want. I don't give a shit. We wanted our number one target. How many years in the past where we've gone for number one targets and not got it? This lad is our number one target. We've gone all in. We haven't spent for 2 years. And it's only fair that, you know what, Arne Slot got the money he wanted and got the player he wanted. And the board have gone all in to go and get him that lad. And he is this number 10. So look, I'm over the moon and I love seeing these lot cry. Only they're just seeing it because it's us. And I say, and I'm only being serious, the shit's come out because they know what's coming. And what's his name? Florian Wirtz wins us the title. That's it.
Asim, just a question for you. In hindsight,
I
don't want to be a Debbie Downer. We have other content creators on our channel that do that. But just if this deal doesn't get through, Turkey goes to City, who is the second one in line? Who is the second and third choice? Because from the data nerds, there's always going to be second option, third option. And I'm being just a hindsight question. We all firmly believe that Wirtz will get done sooner or later. But
I think
Xavi
Simons is an option. Liverpool have been keeping an eye on him. I've been mentioning him, but I think, look, if we're meeting Rayan Cherki, obviously we know he's on the list. So it shows you Liverpool were doing their due diligence. And the fact that they had a meeting with Rayan Cherki, it shows, Avi, that we kind of half expected him, him going to Bayern Munich, but we kept in touch with him. We kept up to date with him as to what his feelings are, what his expectations are, what his demands are as well. And we pounced at the right time. But We didn't put all our eggs in one basket. I believe that if we really wanted Rayan Cherki and we got an answer that you decided to stay at Bayern Munich when it comes to Wirtz, I think we were the head of the queue with Rayan Cherki. I think we're a bigger pull than Man City at the moment. If we can pull Florian Wirtz off Man City, who the hell is Rayan Cherki? With all due respect,
And Milos Kerkez.
and Milos Kerkez. So, Man City fans can go, crazy. We've got Rayan Cherki, it's a bargain, it's a snip. That's fine. But you're only getting him because we didn't want him. I believe that. They all admit that, but it is what it is. But I think Xavi Simons is a B-Tech version of Florian Wirtz, where he can play off the left, cut inside. He can play in central. He's got that little burst of pace as well. And he can get a goal. And he's got an eye for a pass. So that's what you want, more output. So Arne Slot wants more output. And the thing is, he still has a decent amount of legs. Not a Florian Wirtz type in intensity, but that's why I call him, with all due respect, a B-Tech version. But did you watch Wirtz today, Avi?
I didn't. The game was on too early for me. Turkey started for France.
Asim, nothing. I was busy today, so I didn't really get to watch him properly. But I did see the compilation. He looked decent again. Just German side isn't great at all. You could tell from the forward play, this Adeyemi and all these guys, they're not good enough, man. And it felt as though from the few little passes that I saw from Wirtz, they're just not on the same wavelength.
Oh, right.
That German team is going through a huge transition as well. Whether Nagelsmann gets it right before next summer's World Cup, I don't know. They will stick with Nagelsmann, but that and it's surprising because you always see Germany come to the fore, especially in big tournaments. They're always there or thereabouts, but they look way off right now. Asim.
They do.
Where's the Musiala and the boys?
Injured.
Resting injured.
They've got quite a few injuries, to be fair to them.
Who's injured? Musiala.
Wait, there was a few that I saw that were injured actually. You forget, but there's a few.
Gundogan, even though he might be not in there, but is he tired now?
I don't think Michael Bischoff got a chance either. He's a talent. Musiala,
Lima and these guys were missing. Havertz definitely starts for them.
Yeah, after watching them two.
Havertz injured. Rudiger.
How can an Arsenal fan forget about
Schlotterbeck, Stiller as well. These are good players, man.
Okay,
decent players. Musiala. There's about 5 there. Andrik as well. He starts for him.
Schlotterbeck.
Yeah.
These bastards. They'll always be in tournaments. They'll show up. They will show up. Between now and then, between the qualifiers and the friendlies and stuff, we'll get sample size and we'll keep writing them off. But Germany, they always come to the tournaments and start performing. And look, Angelo Stiller, Wirtz, Musiala, there's your 3 midfielders, sort of stroke 8 and 10s. You put Andrich in there, a dirty player like that from Leverkusen who just picks up the dirty plays and whatnot. They've got a good team. And Rudiger, obviously, seasoned pro. I mean, people are saying
Sully, the Arsenal fan, says, Asim, did you see our boy Zubi, who's waxing lyrical?
He's going to Real Madrid, mate.
I was just about to say,
he's very good. You seem pretty confident, Sully. Potter, they're coming for you. Don't worry.
Did you see that tweet? I don't know how reliable it was. Apparently, Perez was at the stadium today, and he's making some sort of transfer.
It's so funny if they took him.
He is Spanish, isn't he? Florentino Perez.
Well, apparently, didn't we hear that Zubimendi has given his word to Arteta about a month ago?
I thought he was Arsenal bound.
Maybe Perez has got the PowerPoint in front of him. He's getting convinced with another presentation.
Just coming in on Madrid, Asim, I want to pick your brain. They have brought you can pronounce it, Gina. His name that Starler from River Plate. Mascherano. They brought him. They brought obviously Trent. There's surely a few outgoing because I'm looking at obviously his agent's been flirting him around all over Europe and the Premier League. You've got the likes of Rodrigo. You've got
Tchouaméni, Avi. Your boy Tchouaméni, you mentioned.
Aurelian. Brahim Diaz. There are players there that I think we could look at. Not Brahim Diaz as such, but definitely someone like Rodrigo, Tchouaméni. These are players that we should be looking at. I know Modric is gone as well, but there looks as if there will be a little few jigsaws getting out of Madrid.
The thing with Tchouaméni, he would expect for someone like Liverpool to come in for him, Avi. Would Arne Slot give him a starting berth in the side ahead of Ryan Gravenberch? Although we do all accept that he's not a natural 6, but I think because he's done so well, Surely he's got that shirt for next season, Avi.
He's probably going to be a starter, but it's going to be we know that we lack that quality depth to get into the latter stages of the Champions League. You know, where PSG could change it up second half at Anfield. We didn't have that quality. I mean, I know people will allude to that. You know, we've got Darwin and we've got Elliott, we've got Chiesa who can change it, but we don't really have that quality depth. Chouameni would be a great complement to come in for our midfield area, Asim. Purely the fact because Gravenberch, we saw.
If Chouameni comes in, who would your first three be?
It would still be Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Wirtz, Szoboszlai.
Okay.
Depending on where he sees, where Arne Slot sees Wirtz. But I would definitely have Chouameni. And I think he'll get plenty of minutes because Gravenberch, you know, he did tail off towards the end. His just legs were tired, but he had a phenomenal season. I think he starts the number six berth next season. I know not the first game of the season because he got sent off he got sent off against Palace, but you know, Chouameni comes in and he can play variable roles. You know, I've seen him cover shifts at centre back, not ideal in this anti-Whitey team, but he can do different shifts. And look, he's 25. And I'm going to go back and sort of contradict myself to what.
We can't see him hit the heights now.
Chouameni needs a move though as well because Real Madrid is all full of personality and big egos and big heads. I think he needs a move to Liverpool where he would be an absolute star for us.
So if you're Chouameni and you're 25, it's okay. And if you're Rafael Leao and you're 25, it's not okay.
The big thing is I don't rate Leao. Gina,
so that's what it is.
I know Gina for a few years now. Gina watched lyrical over Chouameni, and he would take Chouameni
in a heartbeat.
Well, Avi, sticking with you, do you see Endo staying at the club? Nobody's really talking about him now.
I think he came out with the interview saying, "I'm happy with the role that I played at Liverpool this season. I got sufficient minutes, and at my age, I need to look at." You know, what I'm winning and where I'm at. And he said, I think he said that his family, that he was stable. Liverpool provided stability for him in terms of his family as well, his kids, schooling and whatnot. I think his kids are very close to Salah's daughters as well. You saw them at post-match. You know, his daughters were taking pictures with Endo's family and whatnot. As long as he's okay with the role that he plays for Liverpool, which is still a pivotal and important role, I'm happy to keep him. You know, players like that you still need within the squad. If he decides that he really wants first team football with the World Cup coming around the corner, then.
Well, Avi, you mentioned players like Chouameni. Chouameni are players that you could bring in to start a football game. You wouldn't start Endo. With respect to Endo, he's not a starter at all. He will come in for 10 minutes, give you that 10 minutes. So in terms of what he's done for the football club and everything, everything is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But when I look at the squad, and if we're looking at going on all fronts next year, I know McAllister can do a job in that six. If you really want to push hard on every front, Champions League, go for it, go for the lot. You have to go and sign another six. You have to go and sign a proper six who you can say, okay, Grav, come out. Here, Chouameni, you come in. Adam Wharton, you come in. I'm just giving you just names, generally speaking. Yeah, even a Stiller, some people like.
Gino, just holding on that thought. Do you not think Bajicic gets that chance in the summer?
Yeah, listen to me, boys. With respect, don't give me Bajicic. But with respect, I got one want to play him at right back, and then you've come and want to play him in a six. The guy hasn't played football for 3 years. He's played 4 or 5 games for Liverpool Football Club, and you want him to play in like a starting
games this season.
I want to go for a title, bro. I want to
Where are you going?
and win other proper trophies. Go for the Champions League hard. Don't give me Bajicic. Bajicic's like third choice. Please. You know, I like the kid. I want him to do well, but he's nowhere near. Lads, nowhere near.
And he offers variables, though. Centre back, right back, he offers variables.
Look, he's nowhere near what is required to go on all fronts. That's what I'm trying to say. You need to look. We have to start thinking of where we want to be. If you want to go for the big trophies, you need to have a squad that's good enough. Not looking at 21-year-olds, with respect to him, going on loan, done decent-ish 2 years been on loan. What has he done for 2 years on loan, Ave? Answer my question.
No, he's
Jacko.
no.
Had a couple of good months
Let's rewind a little bit.
Good months.
Let's give that ticker of yours a little bit of a break for a couple of seconds, please. But Bajicic had a very indifferent start at Salzburg. Asim started off the first 4 or 5 games fine, but obviously with Pep Linders, his inability to handle players like of Bajicic's quality or Bobby Clark's or Kareem Konate's got him the sack. He went to Las Palmas. He had a very good back end of the season, Gene. He did have a very good back end of the season. Whether that's enough to persuade Slot to give him a chance, not too sure. His application was questioned because he would come to training late quite a few times, and that's why he did get a loan move out to Salzburg initially last season. But I genuinely think, Gene, despite your big tirade and saying that he's not good enough, I do think he will get looked at over the summer by Slot and the coaches. I think they'll give him that chance.
But Gene, don't we think we need to be realistic? Everyone wants us to go buy a 50 million pound DM. Is it going to be looked upon as a big priority when we need a centre back, we need a striker? Arguably, we all agree that we will go for Alexander Isak. And if Liverpool pull off a miracle, he's going to cost 150 million, Gene.
Then
so something has to give.
I'd be Asim, if we get in, okay, you said to me today we're selling Alexander Isak. I'm happy to sacrifice that 6th position and say, okay, Maka can play there. Not Bajicic. My replacement is Maka that will play, not Bajicic, yard. Maka will play there. Soba will play in his position. Curtis Jones can play in that position. But don't give me Bajicic. That's my thing with you. There's no other players that can play in that position. My problem is when you said to me, Bajicic can play there. No, he can't. We've got other players that are better to play in that position. Ideally, I want to go and sign a 6. But if we can't, then other players are a lot better equipped to play in that position. That's what I'm trying to say when you mentioned Bajicic to me. So that's a fair comment.
Okay.
Asa, what's your thoughts on Bajicic?
Right back.
Homegrown. Surely that plays a little bit of a part, no?
I think we've got the tools and the strength in depth this season, even though we need a DM. But, in Curtis Jones, McAllister, what you mentioned, Gravenberg, Szoboszlai, especially with someone Wirtz coming in with that 10, we've got an extra midfielder. I think we've got maybe given one season to do maybe like an Endo role. Come, play in the cup competitions, play a 10, 15 minutes cameo. The fact that, when we're chasing games and he's playing DM, Gravenberg goes into centre-back when we're chasing games. I think that would suit someone like Bajicic, where he can go into centre-back and, he can pass it around from that. Maybe not in the starting position, obviously, when we're chasing games. And maybe when, Gravenberg's not playing or hopefully he's not injured. I think he can do something like that. We've seen Endo play centre back, right back. I think in that Plymouth game he played 3 positions or whichever game it was. So I want to see him because I think there is a player there. But I'm with Gene where, look, I don't think he's ready enough to just come and give him, a starting place. We just won the league, for God's sake. If we finish 10th, yeah, we might have the opportunity to give someone like that a chance. So, but I think there's a player there, he's got ability, and especially with Slot, who likes, control and stuff like that. But coming in, I think he needs to learn. He needs to learn the game. So let's see what happens. It'll be interesting to see if we get any offers for him. It's not been really linked with anyone. So let's see what happens. It's something to keep an eye on. But
where are we going for our pre-season this year? I know we do the Austria tour for that bike rides in the lakes.
Are we not going Asia again?
We've got one game. I think it's in Asia. One game.
Just one game?
I think so. I can't really remember.
Japan.
Yeah,
Japan. So we need Endo then for that tour.
Yeah.
We need to sell some shirts.
That's why we're doing it.
We need Endo. He can go after the tour. Asia. Are we just doing Japan then? Yeah. Are we not going to America this year, are we?
No? They're hosting the Club World Cup this year, aren't they? There's no one local.
Yeah, true. Okay, let's go to someone else who's on the maybe on the verge of leaving Liverpool.
Asim, sorry, I forgot to pick your brains again. Earlier on, you picked our brain. Florian Wirtz gets done within the week.
Yeah, I think in the next.
What's your feelings?
Feelings are 24 to 48 hours. We get a handshake.
That's good enough for me.
Harvey Elliott, Avi, to be fair, to your credit, even when he was getting a lot of praise coming on with cameos, winning a few games here and there. PSG, I think even last season, I think he got the winner at Palace. I think you were saying that, look, he's just not for me. Might be a squad player, but in about 2-3 years' time, or even less than that, you don't see him at the club. And we're in that position now where Harvey Elliott's future is very much in doubt. And he came out with some stuff to say today. I'm just going to read it out to you. I don't know if you read it, and for the benefit of the chat. Harvey Elliott has said he's wary of wasting years of my career on the bench. I just want to improve and to be the best possible version of myself. And if that is to go somewhere else, then it's a decision that I'm going to have to make. And I just need to see what happens. And then I think he goes on to say in The Athletic, I don't really want to be wasting years of my career because it's a short career. These are some of the comments from a player I think has already had a conversation with the manager, Avi.
Yeah, and look, me writing him off doesn't mean I have disliked the player over the course of the last 18 months. More than anything, I wanted him to be a Liverpool player. You see the videos, you saw the Klopp documentary, which was so. It gave us an insight of how much the kid loves Liverpool. Asim, you saw the celebrations. You know when he was he was meeting with one of the grands on the pitches during the celebrations. He's like 96, 97 years old. You can see how much the club means to him and his father as well. He's at his boyhood club. We've seen the pictures of him at 7, 8 years old, and not Istanbul, the Champions League in 2019 that he was there watching and whatnot. And he was there, and then he was there in I think in 2005, whatnot. So it is. It's sad to see that he obviously he's not deemed good enough. That's what it is, and that he will be kind of leaving the football club. I think, and I know people are saying that we'll get the 40 million for him. I think there's an agreement that we'll let him go for 30 million, and making sure that he stays in the Premier League. His entourage, being his father, they want him to remain in the Premier League. So all this talk earlier on a few weeks ago about Leverkusen player exchange, he was never the player in question. It was actually Joel Kwanzaa because of the Jonathan Tah to Bayern deal. Harvey Elliott probably will stay in the Premier League and he will get a move. And look, he's a good footballer.
I mean, 30 million seems a bit on the cheap side.
I don't see we get 40, Asim. Honestly, I don't.
Gene, do you think that's
no chance we let him go for 30 million? No chance. Especially no, I'm just generally saying, like, I cannot see us.
What do you think we get for him?
Edwards and Co are going to let him go for 30 million? No chance. Especially when you've just forked out 130 plus for Florian Wirtz. This lad, and we sold players, we mentioned Carvalho's and the other ones, for flipping 28 million quid. This is Harvey Elliott, who's actually played his part. Keller had 1 year left on his contract. It was a bit different. Yeah, and plus he'd played many years. He could have gone a couple of years before that. We kept him. We had sort of had an agreement. It's 18 million if it reaches 18 million in total. But I think with Harvey Elliott, Avi, I think we're gonna squeeze because he's an English talent. And so don't forget he's an English talent. All this type of stuff makes sense. So we will squeeze whoever wants to come. He'll go in the summer. I guarantee you he'll probably leave. And we will squeeze every penny out of whoever's going to come in for them. No time for sentiment. End of the day, we have to think about what's good for Liverpool Football Club right now. And if it means squeezing players, getting rid of players, so be it. You mentioned rebuild, reset. I'm not saying it's a full reset, but it feels like this is going to be a summer where we're going to see players move on and new players come in.
Gene, I would be I know I said 30 seems to be on the cheap side, but I also believe we'll do really well to get 40.
Asim,
really phenomenal.
There are teams.
I think 35 might be a ballpark figure that we look at.
How much does Smith Rowe go for?
30.
28, maybe. I think I might be wrong.
30 million. To say 30, isn't it?
Yeah. It was something.
I can't remember exactly what fee.
Well, you know what? Safraz and Nazir has said. He made a good point.
Joe Bellingham went for 40.
Wow. Just went for 35. Yeah, 30, 35. Adding up to 40. Yeah. So that is crazy money. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, then Gene, maybe you're right.
Look, I think we will squeeze, Avi. I think Edwards and Co will squeeze, and we'll get what we want from him. Because with respect for Joe Bellingham, you look end of the day, Elliott is proven in the Premier. He played for Liverpool for a few years. There was times where he flipped, not this season, the year before that, where I thought he was brilliant for about 2 or 3 months when Salah got injured and there were a few, we had a few injuries. He was fantastic in them few months. So he's, hate to say this, but Prem proven. I mean, if you wanted me to say that, if you want
That's
me
a
to use
term we
that
haven't
word,
heard before.
but you know what? But you know what I mean, don't you? Like, he's played in that. He's played.
Who would realistically go for Harvey Elliott?
Asim, I'm thinking maybe like a Leeds. I know we've talked about Wolves in previous days. I think me and Gina might have touched upon it. I think like a Leeds I think they've sacked Daniel Farke too.
Have they?
I think they did because they only used, like Neil Warnock. They've used him to promote
there
the
were
club.
reports, but I don't think they have.
I'm not sure. He should probably still at the club. He would be really good there, but then I think they've probably still got Brandon Aronson, who's more direct. He can play in the middle, in the half spaces, so they might not go for him. Wolves and Brian are the sort of obvious choices. Brentford maybe at a stretch, but then they've got Harvey. They've got his Ballon d'Or mate, Fabio Carvalho at Brentford. I don't think they'll go in for Harvey Elliott.
Does he get into the West Ham team?
Not if they keep Kudos.
That's what I was trying to make a point. Kudos. I don't think he gets ahead of Kudos, Bowen, who plays sometimes out wide as well. I can't see him getting in the team.
Palace, people have said Palace if Eze goes, but I don't see many people coming. I know United like Eze, but are they really serious about that? I'm not sure. He'll get a move though. He'll definitely get a move.
I think Eze plays on the other side. I don't like Elliott.
Fulham could be Fulham, but then they've got Smith Rowe who does something similar in that 10 half spaces or off the left.
They've also got Harry Wilson, who does a job for them as well.
He scores some goals. He plays some. He doesn't really start all the time.
Yeah, he doesn't really start, does he? Well, they've got Iwobi on the other side as well, haven't they?
Yeah.
But that that sort of level, that 10th position to 15th, that's where he'll go. I don't think like a Newcastle or a Tottenham. No, I don't.
Top 8.
Let's not go there. Somewhere where he'll be appreciated, that 10 to 15. Fulham maybe a buyback or something. Who knows?
Okay. 650 of you here. Keep on liking, subscribing. Sorry?
Farnaz calling me like an idiot. He knows I'm on the show.
What we were gonna talk about, I think there was Mohammed Amma. Thank you very much for your super chat, Amma. He says, hope you guys had a good day. Reports of Wirtz earning 340k ish per week. Is that too much to be paying? Our structure is good, but that just seems a lot. We were having this similar conversation today, Gene. That is the reported figure with a fee of around about 120 million pounds. It's a big deal, Gene.
It's a big deal, but if I look at it if I put my Liverpool hat on, it's a massive deal, and I'm a bit slightly surprised that we're willing to pay 340 grand a week. I was thinking maybe around the 280 max 300 mark. That they're the sort of figures that we'd probably go up to. But if we're willing to pay him 340, it just goes to show that we want this player and we're willing to go all out. And I think when you're up against Bayern Munich, there was reports coming out that Liverpool have offered him less in terms of wages compared to Bayern Munich, Asim. So look, yeah. So if you want the big boys and the best players, you're gonna have to pull out the wages for some of these players. And I think that's what Liverpool have done. They've looked at it and thought, okay, this guy's gonna be the focal point of our team, especially in a 2 years' time when the likes of Salah and these guys leave. So you're gonna have to bring in a world-class young talent. You're gonna have to pay the door. I don't personally think it's 340. I'll be straight with you. We will have to wait and see what happens. I personally don't believe it's what's coming out. That's a lot of money for Liverpool to just give, especially if we're saying that you're telling me Bayern were willing to pay him 380 a week. I don't believe that. I don't believe Bayern were willing to pay him that amount.
As in premium salary for a premium player, that is probably the wage. Probably 300,000 pounds a week, which is equivalent to probably 340 euros a week. Look, we're shopping at the head of the table now, Asim. Those are the wages that you got to pay. We weren't going to get him for Latupa 180 plus add-ons or incentives like we did with Bobby, Sadio, or Mo back in the day. We've got to give these players like Mo, like Van Dijk now, we've got to give them a proper base salary now per week, right? It's not ready 120,000, but if you score a goal or keep a clean sheet, here's another 50,000 a week, 50,000 pounds a week. You've got to shop at the head of the table, and they're probably giving him 280 to 300,000 pounds a week, which he deserves. Bayern Munich and Man City, they could have washed us away and given him more. But yeah, I think it is that much, 300 million pounds a week. 300
Yeah, 100%. Look, I think we're talking about numbers now. First 5 games, he gets 2-3 goals, 2-3 assists. Nobody's talking about his fee.
forgotten about. Yeah.
Nobody's talking about his wages. And that's how it should be. If he performs on the pitch, we can give him whatever he wants. He deserves every single penny. Avi, I want to move on. We get Kerkez over the line. You asked me if we when it happens. I said in the next 24 to 40 hours, I think we shake on both deals. I don't think we're in a rush to complete the deals by Tuesday because we're not playing in the Club World Cup. The window opens again in about 6-7 days after the 10th of June. So we're not.
So does the window close on Tuesday?
Yes, for a bit, for 6-7 days.
No, why?
Because it was brought in by FIFA for, so like Real Madrid did. They paid 10 million to us.
Oh, Club World Cup. Okay.
Yeah. So and then it opens up. I think it's the 16th of June. So we're not in a rush because we haven't got a tournament. But I think if we're smart, Avi, we get Wirtz over the line, we get Kerkez over the line, and send them bloody on a holiday so they can come back, fresh. They've had some, even though Kerkez has left off for private reasons, Wirtz has obviously had 290s this week. So get his medical done and get him on holiday so he can come back fresh. So we get them over the line this week. What happens next? The links to a striker, Avi, have been very, very quiet. A reason for that?
Links of Darwin Núñez leaving now have gone
yes,
quiet.
Yes.
It's the number 9 market. I think me and Gino lost the words on Thursday's show as well. It's very hard to describe, Asim. It's probably the first time in a long time where there's a shortages of 9. Back in the day, we used to wax lyrical of the Batistuters, the Abel Balbos, Ronaldos, the Ronaldo. How many number 9 Alan Shearers and Les Ferdinands and whatnot. We could just roll them off the tongue. But now, who do we look at? We look at Asim, who, to be fair to him, has rejected Saudi. Yeah. He's going to remain in Europe. Kerkez, God knows what's happening. Kerkez is the weird one. Because he's used to numbers, but no one's taking that extra step of really putting concrete information out to the likes of Ornstein or John Percy or Paul Joyce and saying this club's in for him. Benjamin Sesko, we're hearing Arsenal are close, but no fire yet. Alexander Isak was the one, if they had missed out on the Champions League, which they haven't now. So we will have to see. I think that could be where we may look further down the summer window and see what we can do. Maybe risk it or chance it with a bid and see how Newcastle react to it. There's a lot of sort of puzzle. Ekitike, he was favoured 2 weeks ago, but Frankfurt now all of a sudden are wanting 100 million euros. It's a bit of a predicament that all clubs are on, Asim. Do they or don't they? Do they take the risk with Sesko? Do they take the risk with Kerkez? Do they take, Cunha? Okay, you could say Cunha's gone to United, so they've done a bit of business. But Wemo's going, but he's not obviously a forward. He can do the role as a 9, but he comes off the right. It's a lot of moving parts, but no fruition. There's no fruition at the moment.
Were you expecting a few more links? Not maybe to our number 9 because we're looking elsewhere and we're sorting other deals out. And there's plenty of time to go yet, Avi. But in terms of Darwin Núñez's exit, everybody more or less agreed that this guy's out, the way he was acting, the way he wasn't getting a chance for the best part of 2-3 months. I expected him to at least to be heavily linked by with a Saudi club.
And it could be, as in just while these friendlies and what, because they've been, I think Uruguay have had World Cup qualifiers, but he's not been involved in the squads apparently. Darwin Núñez, I think he was chosen, but he wasn't involved in.
Are there any Saudi clubs part of the
World Cup? I think
Al Hilal
World Cup. Al Hilal. Okay.
That's
why they're trying to. That's why they're trying to do the business. Al Hilal are pushing to do the business.
They've got a couple of days to get a striker. Then maybe they knock on our door on Monday. You never know.
I wouldn't worry though, but I think there's a worry on Liverpool's side that if we get rid of him. We'll need to have about 60-70 million. I think we could sell him for less, a lot less.
Avi, we won't get 60-70 million
unless it's Saudi.
In Europe, unless it's Saudi.
I think we get 50. which is still a big drop off compared to the 17
Yeah.
million they pay. But then who's out there, boss? Who's out there wanting a Darwin Nunes? Atletico Madrid. They've got Soloth, who's coming off a 27 goal a season. They've got Julian Alvarez. Unless there's something happening there where we're still probing that deal, and Alvarez really wants that back to England deal, which I don't see. Which is very rare to see them coming back to England at that age. But I don't see where Darwin Nunes. Where can he go?
What if he goes to? What if obviously Milan will probably sell Liao? They're going to need a forward, aren't they?
No, but
Is he a
yeah,
They already have one. They don't.
they got Santiago Gimenez.
That's true. But
Yeah.
how about has he done? There's Napoli links as well.
Juventus
But they've
have
got
got
Lukaku.
Napoli have got who? Napoli got
Lukaku.
Inter Milan. Who Inter Milan got?
Aro and Thuram.
Thuram. But I think, look, for him, there will be buyers, Asim. There will be teams. That will, look, there's going to be a lot of teams going around. There's going to be a lot of stopping and changes, players going around to other clubs. It just isn't just, this is what it is. There's going to be changes happening, man. And I think we will get 50 million for him, I think, in Europe.
Can you see Darwin Nunes in the Premier League? Somewhere West Ham, maybe?
No. He's going to Europe. Spain would be his ideal.
Asim, he wants out. He wants out. I think he wants out of the country where he can probably go to a Spain or something like that if he can.
Okay. Selection thinks yes. Aston Villa.
They're not in the Champions League. Go to Pessanson. Where are they going to get their money from? They've got PSI issues.
They need to sell first, to meet their PSI deadline soon.
Asim,
where do you see it going?
I think I was thinking about the Premier League, but when Gene said, look, maybe the language different, he wants to go to a different culture where he knows the culture and the language better. I think I probably agree with that. But in terms of style, sorry?
Could he go back to Portugal?
Where is that? Back to Benfica.
But do they spend that much? I've not even known.
No, they're not going to spend that crazy. That's 50 million, Abby, man. They're not going to do that. They won't do that.
What's just out of curiosity, what's Porto and Benfica's record transfer fee that they paid for a player? I don't even know what it is.
I don't know.
I remember a lot of players that they
I don't think it could be over 25, 30 million. I find it very hard.
Sporting, maybe a replacement of your Gyökeres. Will he go? Was there a big rivalry between Sporting and Benfica?
I don't think you would care about that. There would be.
Okay. Any bombers tonight, Avi?
No, Asim has been very quiet. It's just waiting.
Is that orange device on?
The device is somewhere. I had to charge it the other day. It's in the kitchen. But no, I think we'll settle for the next week or so. I think obviously you're saying the Kerkez, or the general feeling outside of people is Kerkez and Wirtz in the next sort of 72 hours, and then it'll calm. Wait for this little tournament which is happening. There seems to be a lot of traction though. I've seen a lot of advertisements on the American TV advertisements about this tournament, so it is quite a serious one. But Asim's can be quiet. I think once the transfer window opens again, we'll be in full motion.
Gene, how many more signings do we make after these 3?
3.
Wow. 3. Avi?
Like when I say signings, I don't include this goalkeeper or anything like that.
No,
I mean a proper signings.
Let's have the chat. Ask the chat.
Asmin, have you seen Have you seen much of Arman Pekshi?
Oh, the keeper?
Yeah.
No, I saw your tweet though. Judging by that, you don't rate him.
He looked awful, man. I shouldn't say that. He's 18 years old, so I shouldn't say that. It's like the Peter Luga one when he was brought in. People were saying, "Oh, the next Alisson, that's it now. Future-proofed already. Future-proof, okay." And then, where is he? Minster or something? He's playing Keithley or something. Keithley Harriers or whatever he's playing.
Keithley Harriers.
We've got a rugby team here, not a football.
Cougars, mate. The Cougars. No, Avi, how many do you think we said? How many do you think come in?
Look, I said to you, lot, reset, man. 6, 7.
6. Give me a number. 6, not 6 or 7.
Okay. So if we say Frimpong, Mamadishvili, Kerkez, and Wirtz are coming in.
Don't count the big lad from Valencia.
Oh, yeah, he didn't come last, isn't he?
I know, but don't count him. Oh, he's done.
He's doing this summer.
Yeah, but he was done from last year,
We
innit?
signed him last year for this summer.
Another 3/4. Without these,
Shut.
without these Latupatu 18-year-olds that are coming in, another 3.
Another 3, yeah, even after Pechi Saab.
After who?
Pechi.
Oh, you don't like those ones, innit? Yeah, another 3, I think.
Okay, another 3.
I think,
And-
guys, there's a lot to do with outgoings, and then we'll see some more incomings. I think I think 1 or 2 deals are kind of practically done, but we're just waiting to pull the trigger. Listen, don't sleep on Hato. I know we haven't spoken about him in a long time, but do not sleep on Jarrell Hato, especially if Robertson decides to leave the football club and Simicast, retains.
Yeah.
Or see what happens with Simicast. Do not sleep on Jarrell Hato.
Okay.
I thought it was done, Avi.
Oh yeah, you told us that it was done.
I thought it was done.
So we haven't slept on him. Excuse us.
Well, I've said do not sleep on Hato.
No, but I thought it was ho gaya done.
I've said do not sleep on Hato. How come you got the top man? How come you got the top man on today? I feel left out now.
What a deflector. What a deflector.
I feel left out.
What a deflector.
Eto, yeah, you were saying.
Yeah,
I don't forget me. I don't forget these things. Don't you worry.
Just put some comments up. I think there's a Jerry 10 who said any interest in Lukeba or Openda. Lewis Openda didn't have a great season, 13 goals, I think, in 43 this season. His numbers have dwindled, but he's a player that interests a lot of clubs because he can play off the left, play off the right, central. He has a bit of pace as well. Just wondering whether teams will take a chance on him.
Avi, there were some links this weekend with Ousmane Diomande. Seen much of him lately?
And I always thought he was United bound, to be fair.
Really? Because of the Amarim links?
Amarim, and because of the 3 futures of Maguire, Martinez, Okone, who else? Delect. Euro will stay. He's the future. But I think Diomande, I just see him at United for some reason.
Would you take him up?
They'll be, and to be fair to them, if they get Boemo over the line, you have to respect United. Obviously, you hate them, but you've got to respect that business. Cunha is a good signing for them, but Wemo's a good signing. If they shift Garnacho's and maybe Kobe Mainos and a few others like Sancho, Anthony, they'll do a lot of. They'll do a massive rebound.
Would you take Diomande, Sheen?
Yeah, I take him. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've not seen him over this year, but I think last summer when we obviously watched him a few times, he looked like he looked good. So look, right now, Asim, the thing is he an improvement of what we've got? Obviously, when you take out Konate and thingy, so it's always a yes. Because they're better than Kwanzaa's, they're better than the Gomez in terms of injuries and all that type of stuff. So of course it's an improvement. So you take, and as people are mentioning 40 million, no, without a shadow of a doubt, you take him at 40 million.
Yeah.
Asim, is there still worries about Konate?
We have to be worried, Avi. He's got 12 months left on his contract, and if we're believed to the reports, even coming from the player himself, he's saying, look, there's a bit of a stalemate. They're in talks, which is good news, but maybe there's the miles apart. 200 grand is the reported figure that he wants and demands. We have to give him it, Avi. We have to. I was talking to Junior during the day that we don't want to be a club that just keeps on letting our best players run down their contract. And although this new regime, even the likes of Michael Edwards and these guys have come back from previously being at the club, I can't fault these guys because this is just a consequence of what happened 2-3 years ago. Now, we've all discussed whose fault it is. I think it's of a shared responsibility, including Jurgen Klopp, I must say. But we have to make sure that if we have to pay him extra 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a week, just get the bloody deal done, because we can't keep on going into the market and finding the next Ibu Konate. We've been trying for the last 2 years to find a succession plan for Van Dijk. Euro missed out on, understandably so. Dean Huijsen missed out on, understandably so. But they don't grow on trees.
Huijsen is the one that I think we're gutted about. We really thought, I think they thought it was extremely close to getting Huijsen coming to Liverpool for 3-4 years before he pined for a move to Real Madrid. I think that's I think that was the one that we missed out on. He's a classy defender. And look, he's in the Spanish team. The way he brings out the ball, he's just pleasing to the eye as well. And finished a great goal against France, but it was offside. Oh, listen, yeah, put this Jinxie World on his comment, for fuck's sake. He spammed all the fucking hour. Just put his chat, no, put his chat in, just to make him a happy place. Jinxie World, please on some stress. What do you think? We get the works. Here we go in your.
Wait. We'll just put the super chat on because we've got super chat from 20 times. It's the same question. Even Unks is probably laid down in bed, worrying about words. He can't even bloody spell his name. It's Wirtz, Uncle, not WE. How confident are we, Kerkez and Wirtz deal? Gonna go through?
You're a funny basket.
He's
The way you went then.
and he looks like he's probably a spam or a troll account. But come on, guys.
No, he's not a troll guy. He comes on a few times. Yeah, look,
Yeah,
he's got spun. No, but ask him. Look, Avi's right.
I haven't seen his comment much.
Bro,
man.
he's put about 5 with the same thing on. That's too much, man.
Oh, chiller, that's fine. I mean, answer his question then, for God's sake.
I think it'll get done, and hopefully this week it'll get done. There's my prediction.
Yes, it
He
gets
said
done.
sorry. He said sorry, man. He said sorry.
No, don't apologize. But like, we will read it. Like, you know what I mean? It's with a name like that, we're not bound to miss it, are we?
What did he actually say? Even though I put his comment up.
I was just
No, ask
saying
him.
what-
We're worried about the words and kingy
What
deals,
is-
man.
Okay. Ali's been asking me how many players we're gonna get. I think we're gonna get another 2, but it could be 3 if Diaz leaves.
What's the feeling on that? Because you had concerns last summer.
Yeah, Avi, if we got the offer last summer, he would have gone. Liverpool have been relaxed on the player and the situation because Liverpool have got the player where they want. Let's be honest. And he's been driving up that interest via his dad, via his agent, via Barcelona themselves. Apparently, Deco got on the phone to Liverpool this week and we rebuffed the approach. Rightly so as well. We're in the driving seat when it comes to Luis Diaz. We're basically telling him, look, we like you, but we don't really believe in you to give you another new contract. If you want a new contract, maybe the Liverpool are offering the terms that he's not happy with. And I can understand that he wants a last big payday. He's on peanuts apparently compared to the other teams.
Does he
But
not deserve a new contract, Asim? If we're going to keep him, does he not deserve one after last season? Slot seems a fan. From not that I know any knowledge, but from what I can see, Slot does fancy.
Slot is a fan. I know that just by judging him on a weekly basis. He's had a really good season. But Avi, depends on that contract. Is he looking at what is he on at the moment? Tell me, 60?
No, he's not. He's on a
80,
lot.
90?
I think it's on
80,
80.
90?
55 grand a week.
No,
Oh no,
chance.
he's on 80. He's on 80 grand a week. This year,
Base. Give me the base. Everyone gets bonuses, Avi.
he's gonna check Google. Google says 55.
It's on saying 55.
He's not on
60.
Well, itna ही कोई उधर ना. It's
Okay,
not
let's put it
majorly off.
I mean,
is
if
it?
he wants 150, I don't think Liverpool want to go double his wages, more than double his wages, triple his wages. I don't think so. Can it be justified? Avi, the nerd will see his output. They might see this season as like a one-off now. Can they see him sustain that? You know, all the figures and the numbers will tell them that.
Well,
I don't
Avi,
think
only,
Liverpool
he's
wanna go there.
only actually. I'm sorry to interrupt, but he's only given us one decent season. Let's face it.
Avi gets
So
hurt.
why would you give him 200 and 100?
There has to be context here. He came in January of that season 22. He had a brilliant first 6 months. The next season, he had a good start to the season. He gets bloody injured, got the MCL against Arsenal. So that season is repeat. The next season, he gets a good start. Then his father, he just tailed off. Last season, he didn't do bad. He had that spell, 16, 17 games where he went
Oh,
without
he's nearly 29.
goal or assist. He's going to be 29 in January.
29 in January. Okay, it's got 6 months left.
You know, he gives it his all as well. And I know people say, well, that's the expectations, isn't it? But he does fight to that last second of the game.
Do we deserve 150?
150 a week is not a lot of money, by the way.
So is that yes?
Avi, the issue that you have.
He's going to stay. He deserves a new contract, no?
Avi, look, the issue that you have with him is he's an asset. And right now, he's an asset that we can probably sell for £70 million, right? This is what how you have to see it. It's not. Yes, I'll be honest with you. If you said to me we're going to keep him, I'd happily keep him. I'd happily keep him.
It's almost,
Going by this year's performance, I would keep him. But if you sat me down right now and said 75 million quid, Gina, 28-year-old, 75 million quid, one decent season, which you can disagree with me, but I see it differently. One decent season, would you take it? I would say yes.
no, me and you have said I would take
Yeah.
70 million.
So this is this. So you have to see it. This is why Liverpool are relaxed.
Barcelona have too many moving parts right now
Hmm.
for them to even think about doing a deal for Luis Diaz. They've got to get rid of 3-4 before they can even
Yeah.
look at players. There's too many moving parts at Barca. Does he fancy Saudi already at 28, 29?
I think he might be. I think Liverpool are forcing him down that road,
That's what
the
we're doing.
Saudi road.
No, fair enough. Give me 65. I'm taking it, Gene. Not 70. I'm taking 60 for him. And he's my
Yeah.
favorite player. But
I'm only taking 65. I don't want Liverpool to even take 65 in the last week of the window, but there's no time to bring
agreed.
in someone in.
100%. I would never sell him in the life. Listen, he stays then. We take the loss of the money because one thing with Luis Diaz is he can play both positions. Yeah, and I'm not letting him go if we're not going to bring in an adequate replacement. No chance. I would rather him stay. My first thing, Avi, is I would rather him stay at the football club. I don't want him sold. But if we have to sell him, we have to bring in a decent replacement, a good replacement who's obviously.
But just to interject, who is that replacement? Realistically
Avi, we've asked him.
Realistic. Let's be
Look,
realistic.
Avi, realistically, yeah. Okay, if we're being realistic and we think, okay, who's doable? If I look at, okay, Nico, let's start with Avi's Nico Williams. The fee completely makes sense. Yeah, the wages completely don't make sense. Straight up, Avi, do we agree?
What's Anthony Gordon right now? Right now,
Anthony Gordon, I think, is on around 150, but he's not going to demand to come to
Nico
Liverpool, his boy club. He's not going to demand 250 straight away. I don't think he is anyway.
will
Nico
demand
is on
200.
Nico
Maybe
is on
200.
Okay.
Nico is on 200 a week already.
There you go.
250 or 300. He's on 200 already.
Something 200, around 200. So
180 grand according to
yeah,
Brand.
but they gave him a big contract. But I can see him come to Liverpool, Asim, probably on the same terms or 200 because he wants to play for Liverpool. It's his boyhood club. It's slightly different. Whereas Nico Williams, I can't see Nico coming to Liverpool when I've been told that he wants. Why are other clubs not in for him, Asim? Why haven't we seen other clubs activate that release clause already? Because the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Arsenal do want him. But why have they not? Because he's wanting stupid wages, Avi. And that's the truth. Otherwise, he would have been already snapped up because Avi mentions his ceiling is up there. We all know it is. But why not? Because his wage demands.
You know what it is? Just aside from that, so there is a story about this: the Williams family coming to Spain, and they set. So they were on a boat. His mother was pregnant with his older brother, Inaki Williams. They obviously landed in sort of like Bilbao on a boat and whatnot. Their affiliation with Bilbao is very strong in that area in general.
The Basque region, yeah.
Inaki Williams should have been. He should have left Spain at 23, 24. He was up and coming as well. He's 28, 29 now. I don't want that to happen to Nico Williams, but they do have a strong affiliation. These Basque players, they don't want to leave the region of Sociedad or Bilbao. There is something about the mountains and whatnot. They do stay there. There was a famous Spanish footballer, Echevarria of Bilbao.
Yeah.
15, 20 years. Iker Muniain. Muniain at 1920 was a world star. Real Madrid, Barcelona, all the clubs in Europe wanted Iker Muniain. He's still like 30, 31 now. He's been around.
Even Herrera, Avi.
He went back.
But he had to fight to leave the football club in a way. He wasn't or you can go with the blessing to sort of thingy. He had to buy himself out of the contract.
Yeah, he did. He did.
It wasn't as easy as I want to leave. They make it difficult for you.
They do.
So, but if you're talking realistic, Avi, then you have to look at players like Gordon.
Look, I'm happy if Gordon is the way forward. At least have a plan in place that okay, Diaz goes. It can't be Diaz goes and Latupatu. We're going for wingers.
I agree with you. I don't think we will. Yeah, well, okay. Liao, I just checked. Liao's on 105 grand a week. He's got a release. I'm just giving you, just saying it. We're saying we're being really realistic. Yeah, he's on 105, 110k a week. Makes sense. His wage, we think he's going to be what 60 million. Makes sense. That sort of deal makes sense right now. Who else is there? Then you start looking at Barcolas. They're going to demand.
Asim, I think if we were to get rid of Diaz, look at someone who's coming up, a prospect like a Ben
Malka.
Seguir, rather than a Gordon or a even maybe a Nico Williams or a Bradley Buckle. I think we'll go even lower than that. Like a
Malik?
that's my gut feeling.
But is Ben Seguir like a proper touchline winger who takes players on?
He takes players on, but he likes cutting in. He's like a Sancho. His game is mirrored like Sancho, like a Dortmund Sancho.
Where does he start on paper?
On the left.
What about Malka?
Malik, he reminds me of Salah, his running style. He's got pace. That boy's got pace to burn. No, he needs with Malik Fofana again, he needs a breakout season. We can't just base him on this season. He needs one more season.
Well, we've got Gakpo, Avi, who arguably is first choice.
Yeah, but he got injured last season too.
Yeah, true.
And he can in and out. He can be inconsistent too.
But can we afford to take 16, 17 goals out of this team, Avi? Gene, and bring in someone like a.
This is why, Asim, I will only accept, like what Avi's saying is bring in a second fiddle to Gakpo, like a Ben Seguir. Yes, I really like the kid. I think he's a star. You know, you take a chance. I will only accept that is if you use the Diaz and the Diaz and the Nunes money together and go buy a 9 with all that money, and then you bring in a Seguira. Yeah, because you've got the 120-30 million pound. You throw it for Alvarez or Isak. That's the only way where you settle. Okay, you go all out for the two, but then you settle a bit less for the left hand side. Only way to do it is that. Otherwise, you can't accept it. Otherwise, you can't say to me, Ekitike and Seguira. That doesn't make sense.
Oh, listen, and I don't want to do this for show, yeah? But the likes of Vanch and these Batisa, right? Alanga, like, behave yourselves. No, behave yourselves.
To be fair, Vanch has said Alanga about 10 times.
Alanga. There's no links with Alanga. Asim, if you want to act the big bollocks, if we want to act the big bollocks, get Wirtz, give me Rodrigo Shutti. Test the waters.
That's game on. That's game on. Now we're talking game on.
Get Rodrigo.
Game on.
Then you're
That's
talking.
what you do.
And
That makes sense. Game on. That's what you have to try to. You can't get rid of Diaz for Latu Patu, like Avi says. Not when I say Latu Patu, I mean players that are ready, like to go, that you know that are going to scale this team.
Oh, Vancha Saab, I get Alanga's been good this season, but come on, man, he's not going to get this league.
Ref's in the house. He says Elanga is better than Gordon. League championship level ref who sees a lot of football.
Yeah, stick to watching the championship a bit.
Wait, hold on. Book Vanch is coming up, man. Ask me, we need to
Which one? Which one?
Up.
Which one?
17 goal assists, 19 goals assists in last 2 seasons. That's not fucking bad going. I apologize then if that's his numbers, but I don't know if he's Liverpool quality.
Does he play on the right? Elanga plays on the right, no? Hudson Odoi plays on the left.
Listen, Andy, look at that Andy comment. Endoe. Remember that name that I put you guys in the WhatsApp? Dan Endoe of Bologna? But he's 24, yes. 25 too. Asim, if we get rid of Diaz, you have to shop at Rodrigo level.
I agree.
Rodrigo, Anthony Gordon, Cholo TK, Bradley Buckle, that's the level. I don't know whether we will.
Well, how will we? Isn't there proof in the pudding, Avi, where we've gone for the best in class? Although, look, Kerkez has been one of the best left backs in the league this year. Wirtz is one of the
creators in football.
He's one of the best 10s, if not the best 10 in world football. Musiala might have something to say about that, but he's up there, isn't he? So how will we prove that if we do need someone, especially for the first team, that we'll go and shop at the top table?
Yeah, and that is top table. I would like to know what Rodrigo's wages are.
I think he might be on around about 180. I think.
Someone just put a name up. I can't even put the comments up.
Rodrigo's will be on more than that, bro. This is real.
I'll be surprised if Rodrigo's not on something like 180. I'll be surprised.
Then we got to.
No,
I might be wrong.
But then you know what? You got to be careful.
330 grand a week, mate. No. Sorry, wrong. Sorry, wrong. That's not him. I left the wrong one. 200 grand a week.
Yeah.
Then Asim, where does that leave us with the Rio? You know, he's a starter. He's going to be 18, 17. He's going to get something. He's getting fast track, boys. Whether we like it or not, Rio and Gamua, he's going to be fast track this season again.
Ash is asking, could we do with someone like Morgan Rogers and do a job of utility attacker? Like, Ash, I wouldn't want to spend 50, 60, 70 million pounds on Morgan Rogers and for him to be a utility attacker. I think we've gone with Wirtz to provide output. And I don't think Morgan Rogers provides that from that number 10. And that's why the reason why we're going to spend. He's a brilliant player, but I don't think he's Florian Wirtz level. So where do you play him then? Do you play him on the right? Do you play him off the left? And he's going to be coming into those central positions anyway. So you go spend 70 million pounds on a utility attacker. You spend 20, 30, 20, 35 million pounds on a utility attacker, not 60, 70 million in my eyes anyway. Good player, but I just don't think, it's where we're looking at the moment.
I watched a bit of him on Thursday's post after me and Gene were done up. I watched a few good YouTube clips of him. Aki Luce of Monaco. Oof.
He's linked, Javi.
Plays off that right wing.
Very good player, Avi, man.
He could play even deeper. I think
he's class, man. He's got something about him.
Beautiful left foot.
Yeah, he's got something about him.
Wasn't he linked to somewhere?
Us. But that was like a Lacanal sport.
When I saw him, Avi, though, I think he played against Arsenal, and you can tell he's a very technical footballer. But what I remember is he didn't have the pace.
No, he's not a right winger. In my eyes, he's not a right winger. He's a deep line player. But he could maybe become like a Fabian Ruiz for us. If we're not shopping at Adam Wharton level, Aki Luce.
Okay.
We'd have to develop his game up here rather than just being that attacking outlet.
Someone's saying, I think he's off to PSG. I won't be surprised. They're nicking all the stars in France at the moment, aren't they? Tika, I think that's the wrap, boys. I think we more or less discussed everything. Anything else? Done? Javi?
Is it you tomorrow at 1 o'clock?
I don't know.
Yeah, Monday.
Is it me? Tika, just hope something breaks in the morning then. If not, we'll just waffle along. Smash a like, everyone, as Ehsan says. Anything else, Avi? You feel like you've got the face of it, like you're burning to give us something.
No, I wish I did. Can't make up shit on the fly. So no, nothing. Been a good show. I've enjoyed this actually.
Yeah,
it's been good. I think me and Gene have agreed on a lot of things today. So it's always nice. It's nice to be on the good side of Gene.
Avi, you're like, have you got no bomber for me, man? Make me happy. Hush kara de.
Put him to sleep with the bomber, man. Put him to sleep.
Device are low at the moment, man.
Device is off.
Fucking charge that device, man. What's wrong with it?
No, it's charged, but there's nothing coming through.
Look, even Lennon Miller, he's in the house.
Wherever he goes, you'll remember the name, Lennon Miller.
But Avi, I'm definitely gonna remember his name. It's A Nana Pull. I'll tell you that now.
How many did we have live today?
We've still got nearly 700 in.
Guys, make sure you like and subscribe at least. Today's been a good show. We've just talked football, covered the Nations League, covered a bit of Liverpool, covered the Harvey Elliott stuff, covered the Wirtz Kerkez, and we always engage with the comments. So just make sure that you like and subscribe.
Right, yo. Okay, people, that's the wrap. Thank you very much for watching, and you'll see me at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's see if it's a Milos Monday. Take care, and we catch you on the next one. Ta-ra for now. Bye-bye.
Yeah, guys.